Okay, so in this class, we are trying to look into the 6-element analysis. I am not saying whatever you could see is absolutely right, but it is to some extent based on the format. If you think about your solution in this format, you should be expecting 80 to 90% mark based on the format. I'm not saying about the content. So what I mean by format, as you can see, like under each and every elements, I have highlighted the roles. For an example, under human, we have two roles. One is shader user, right? Another is admin. Now, in this case, we have considered like inside dash, there should be someone who would be managing the dash. That is, uh, the user should be created, some parameters should be, some system level variables should be maintained by those person. That means system administrator. So system admin is a role and shader users another role. So in this case, we found we have listed down 5 activities of shader users, starting with exploring the possible sources for data. The next step would be gather data from different sources. Number 3 is select appropriate data entry form. So here he is basically interacting with the dash system. So you can also mention that login to dash. So this could be the third process. The fourth one could be select appropriate data entry form to enter the data. Then number 5 could be enter the data in the system. Users need to basically, here we are explaining what kind of data they are entering in the system. Users need to provide data entry option, data period, correct unit, and source related information in the system while storing the data. Finally, we are saying clicking save button, that means user is basically saving the data. So basic data entry consists of these 6 activities that I could think of right now. The next person is admin, system admin here. So they can create new user for system to provide data entry, or I should say create new users for system to provide data entry. Then the next task is using setting, can change using setting. The users can change different system variables and other parameters. So some configuration management we are mentioning that can be done by the admin. In the next column, we have non-computing hardware. We can see we have pen and paper. We have the source. We have pen paper, that is basically the role. Now here what we are saying, the source data or the data from the source is sometimes recorded manually by user. That means in pen and paper, by using pen and paper, they record manually the data. For manual verification and calculation, pen and papers are also used. So we have found 2 functions of pen and paper. Now you could say that can't we segregate pen and paper? But to me, while I am using pen, I should be using pen on something that should be paper. That's the reason why I have put pen and paper together. In case you want to mention forms, that should be separate. If you want to mention report, that has to be separate. The next thing, computing.
Sir, could you zoom in a little bit more?
Sure, I can. Is it okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the next part here, we are focusing on the third column of 6 elements, that is computing hardware. Here we have mentioned computer. It could be PC, tablet. So anything, any computing device. So maybe instead of computer, I should say computing device. So all required data are searched using computer device. Number one, number two, all required data are stored using computing or computer or a computer. So that's basically I found two tasks. I just recorded two tasks here. In the system, I have two systems. One is dash, another is other system. So here, if you want to mention specifically other system, other maybe data source system. So first of all, in dash, dash has interface to store the data. That is number one. Using the interface of dash, admin creates users and set different system variables. So if you want, you can segregate them into two parts using interface of dash. Admin can set different and others. For in other system, we have other system can be accessed by shader users to gather related data. That means in government, they might have some website, they might have some system, MI system. So using those softwares or those systems, users are gathering the data. That's basically what we have. Microsoft storage, Dash is integrated with Microsoft SQL Server. Dash is integrated with Microsoft SQL Server that works as backend of the Dash. And other sources related data are stored by different agencies using different sources. So other sources might be there which can be used for storing the data. Based application and require internet to access the software. So to me, activities and the roles which is under 6. Have any questions? We would like to take any questions. Otherwise, we will proceed further. Any questions? Okay.
No.
So if there is no question, then basically let us go to the next phase. I am stopping the sharing.